So today's readings are Psalms 26 and 27, and tomorrow's are Psalms 28 and 29. I want to start with this hymn by John Samuel Beardy Monsell from the 1800s. It's familiar to you, I'm sure. Fight the good fight with all thy might. Christ is thy strength and Christ thy right. Lay hold on life and it shall be thy joy and crown eternally. Run the straight race through God's good grace. Lift up thine eyes and seek his face. Life with its way before us lies. Christ is the path and Christ the prize. Cast care aside, lean on thy guide. His boundless mercy will provide. Trust and thy trusting soul shall prove. Christ is its life and Christ its love. Faint not nor fear, his arms are near. He changeth not and thou art dear. Only believe and thou shalt see that Christ is all in all to thee. So I'm looking at Psalm 27 and I've called it Take Courage. And it's fairly simple why. Let me get it. So let me tell you a story of what happened 208 years ago. In 1812, the famous missionary and linguist Henry Martyn finished his translation of the New Testament into Persian, and he realized that his translation would need the approval of the Shah if it was going to be accepted in Persia, which of course is present-day Iran. So Martyn had two beautiful presentation copies prepared with exquisite penmanship, but before he was granted an audience with the Shah, Henry Martyn had to pass through an interview with the Shah's vizier. And he arrived at court, the only European there, and all eyes were on him. And within minutes, the vizier's officials began arguing with him. And for 2 hours, they argued and assaulted Martyn verbally, interrupting him, saying all sorts of lies about him and his book. And Henry Martyn, he stood alone, 10 against 1. The man seemed to have forgotten how to fear because, remember, he was a foreigner in a foreign court, no friends. And finally, the vizier stood up and asked a crucial question. He challenged Martyn to recite the Muslim creed, say there is no God but God and Muhammad is his prophet. And the court fell silent, and the room, it crackled with electricity and tension. And Henry Martyn wrote, and I said, God is God. But instead of saying Muhammad is the prophet of God, I said, and Jesus is the Son of God. And they all rose up as if they would have torn me in pieces, snarling out one of the classic fighting cries of the Muslim world. He is neither begotten nor begets. What will you do when your tongue is burnt out for this blasphemy? And whilst all this was going on, Martyn's beautiful copy of the New Testament was on the floor before the vizier. And Martyn was afraid that the men would trample it in their fury, and he went in among them and wrapped it carefully in a towel while they glared at him with contempt. Obviously, he escaped with his life, and otherwise we would not know anything of this. You see, Psalm 27, which is what we're looking at today, it starts with, whom shall I fear? And Martyn had every right to be afraid with the opposition that he had. And maybe we feel we have a right to be afraid when situations arise. Maybe it could be to do with that, or we don't know how to make ends meet, or we're worried about our health or the health of our loved ones. But this psalm, it brackets it. It starts with, whom shall I fear? But it ends with, let your heart take courage. Let your heart take courage. We need to seek, hold to, long for, and wait for God. That's the point of this psalm. To seek him, to hold to him, to long for him, and to wait for him. Because really, there's only one whom we should fear, but he is on our side. And so we can take courage. Whatever people do, whatever things happen in our lives, we can come to him who loves us, who cares for us. What we just heard in that song, thou art dear to him. And really, I just want to finish with the last verse of Psalm 27. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. I hope that you will be able to join me tomorrow. God bless.